I actually have to cook for all these people and prepare this meal. In getting to that point where I think everybody hits that overwhelming stress of cooking for the large groups or having all the guests over, never mind, attempting the style of the craft that we have at Cafemantic every day. Do you have any tips for our listeners as they get ready to cook for these larger groups and what they normally do?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, the way I approach cooking at home for large people is it's similar to the restaurant in terms of how we plan things. So, number one, planning I think is huge, and to do as much ahead of time. We call it mise en place, which means everything in its place. So, a couple things. First, get your knife sharpened. That will save you time. It will save you frustration. If you're not good at sharpening yourself, I know like a lot of farmers markets have knife sharpeners, or you can bring it to like a grocery store. Some of them have it. So there's places for that. I would strongly urge you to do that. It will make things so much easier for you. And then to plan your menu and take a look at those recipes, and anything that you can do in batches, like all the knife work can be done days ahead of time. So say you have 2 or 3 recipes that uses like onions are in everything, right? You're making stuffing, say, you're making a soup, you're making, sauce or something. All of those onions, just do them all at once, and have them in your fridge or ready to go, peeled or sliced or diced, however you're using them. The same thing with like any of the aromatic vegetables, celery, carrots. Do them all in large batches and do it several days ahead of time. They'll be fine, in a Tupperware or something like that in the fridge. And so when it's time to actually go ahead and cook, you're just pulling stuff out, adding it to the pan, and you don't have, onion peels everywhere and stuff like that. It's cheap to go buy those little deli containers that you get like at the grocery store, 1 cup, 2 cup, 4 cup deli containers. We use that for all of our prepped ingredients. They seal tightly, and you can have all that stuff labeled in your fridge ready to go. So when it's cook time, you're just grabbing stuff that's already been prepared, as far as you can.
So really, like, spread out the work then, right?
Spread out the work. Start a couple days. It's the same thing. No one likes to be running around, have all of their counters covered with different crap that that's in your way. It's just so much more peaceful to work in an organized fashion, and that's where starting ahead of time I think is huge on that.
Gotcha. For the holidays, are you expected to cook?
Yeah, we've, every year after a large one of these things, I say that it's not going to happen next year. I say, it's just too much for going from, the restaurant back into homes, doing it for our group of people, but I still end up doing it every year somehow I think after the year has passed, I've forgotten about some of the long nights and stuff. We go over the top, though, so it's a little, it's hard for me to do things simply. I always say we'll make it very simple, but it ends up being, this person likes this thing, and this person likes, the cranberries, and this person likes that pie, and so we're trying, we got to do that. We always make it way too much stuff. Mm-hmm. So if I listen to my own advice, I think that's this year is try to be simple and, not bite off more than you can chew.
Well, if I can make a suggestion, Jonathan,
Sure.
The person that likes the pumpkin pie over the apple pie, can you bring an apple pie?
Right.
Or
Right.
I like my cranberries sauce jellied. I like it chunky. Can you bring the cranberry sauce, please?
Right.
And, those dishes that you can prepare ahead of time and bring to the feast gives you less to do.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
I mean, that's from practical. I got a small kitchen,
right,
and I got to prepare for 20 guests.
So we'll spread out the work, and then we'll share the work.
Spread it out the work, and then we'll share in the feast. Yeah,
I like that one. That's a good idea.
You ought to try that this year.
Sometime. Yeah, try it at the restaurant. Right? Yeah. I don't think that would work too well.
No, I don't think so.
Another thing too, like we do roasted vegetables every year at Thanksgiving. Going back to preparing ahead, like roast the vegetables off in the oven. Let them sit on a cookie sheet tray or something like that, and flash them back in the oven right before dinner. Any of those things, that we can do ahead of time saves a lot of time too. And even like the turkey and stuff like that, for we're talking about Thanksgiving. If I understand a lot of people, they like the whole turkey coming out to the table, all in one piece. But if you can get over that and cook the legs separately, that's huge. I mean, that first they cook at different temperatures. It's very hard to keep the breast juicy and have the legs cooked all the way. Usually you find a compromise in the middle where the legs are cooked, but they're still maybe a little chewy, and maybe the breast is a little drier. You try to find that compromise. So if you don't need to have the whole turkey come out together, what we do a lot of times is we'll cook the turkey legs in chicken fat, or you can use even pork fat, which you can just buy lard at the store or something like that, and we kind of put it in there late at night. Maybe we'll be up a little late the night before, having a couple drinks, and we'll put the turkey legs in the oven, just covered in fat, and we've seasoned them up and let them go for 8 hours at 200 degrees, and they're just falling off the bone tender when you wake up in the morning. All you got to do is just crisp up the skin in a skillet or something, and we put those separately. Those go first, before
sure
anything
they
else.
do.
Or you could braise it in some chicken stock or whatever like that, so they're really, really tender. Again, something that's done ahead of time, where that crunch time and half an hour before your dinner is supposed to be ready, and there's no room in the oven to cook anything else, and it makes that much easier, I think, just to have as much done ahead of time. Yeah.
And I think that actually kind of jumps back to what we were talking about earlier, where where do you prioritize presentation versus the flavor and everything.
Right.
Where maybe you can garnish up the turkey legs or something, but you don't need the
Right.
whole turkey coming out at once for
Right.
that awesome picture of everybody sitting around
Right.
the turkey in the middle. Focus on what's going to get you the best flavor and
Right.
the best result. And at the end of the day, I think that's what we all remember.
Right.
My problem is that there's only 2 turkey legs, but there's more than 2 people who want turkey legs.
Well, you can buy extra turkey legs.
I'm gonna have to.
See, that's the thing. It's even easier. If you got a big tray of those turkey legs going in the oven, you can definitely, a roasting pan will fit more than 2 legs.
Oh, yes.
You can put 4 to 6 legs in there and satisfy all those dark meat lovers.
So cover it in lard, huh?
Cover it in lard.
Any bacon in there?
Yeah. Put anything you want in there. Last year, I think, we just didn't have enough chicken fat. A lot of times we'll save chicken.
Yeah.
I steal things from the restaurant like that it's not necessarily going to use in the restaurant. We'll save chicken skin for, a couple months in the freezer, and then I'll just, all you do is put a little bit of water in a pot, let it go real slow for a couple hours, and then the water evaporates. You're left with just chicken fat. Or last year I think it was a combination of bacon fat, duck fat, chicken fat, and pork fat. Just mixed it all together, and
Oh, baby.
all the fats, and let those suckers go low and slow.
And just to pick your brain for another minute, would you have any impress the guest recipes that would be easy that we could post up in the show notes?
Sure. I think I'm going to send you the butternut squash soup recipe. We do that. It's on the menu right now. Not every day at the restaurant because we rotate our soups, but it's one that is always extremely popular. People are always asking us for that recipe. So it's a couple of the things I think that make it really delicious is we add brown butter to the soup at the end. We stir in. Brown butter is kind of a magical thing. It's something very simple that is very easy to do. Is you melt down butter and you toast it until the milk solids start to caramelize, and you get that rich, nutty kind of hazelnut aroma and flavor from that. And we stir that into the soup at the end. That makes it really delicious. We add some apples and some ginger in there, which kind of give it some acid and a little freshness. We garnish it with some whipped nutmeg creme fraiche. Mm-hmm. That's something, again, you can have that done 3 days ahead of time. That's something that even improves as the soup sits for a couple of days. The flavors kind of intensify a little bit and meld together, and now you're just reheating something. And soups are fun to garnish. You can make them look really good. You can put some fried sage leaves on top. You can buy some roasted pumpkin seed oil. You can toast off some pumpkin seeds. You can make it. You can dress it up, and all you're doing is heating up some soup that you did 3 days ago that you put the work in up front. And the payoff's kind of big when everyone gets a nice little soup that's garnished kind of cool, and it's a crowd favorite, I think.
Oh, awesome! I can't wait for that.
I can't.
Yeah.
What time does Cafemantic open?
11 a.m. most days.
We're going to stop this and head over. All right. Awesome. Well, Jonathan, thank you again for taking the time and sharing all of this with us. We truly appreciate it. Now, you guys have the seasonal menu changes ongoing throughout the year. Where can we go to see what's on the menu and what's available now at Cafemantic?
Sure. You can go to cafemantic.com. We try to upload the menus every time we change them. The menus change at least once a week, sometimes more than that, where not the whole menu, but several items kind of come and go depending on the kind of micro seasons with the farms and stuff. And so you can go there, check that out, make reservations online there. And we also are trying to grow our full-service catering company, Movable Feast. And you can go to ctfeast.com to look up all of our catering stuff. We do large events, 100-plus weddings to small events, luncheons, anything like that. We do it all. And we come to you, and we bring the restaurant to your event. So
fantastic. So is there anything on the menu coming up or that's on there now that you're excited about personally? Or?
Yeah, I've been kind of busy with a lot of the catering stuff, been waiting to put this one on for a couple weeks now, but we'll be doing, speaking of confit things in fat, we'll be doing duck leg confit soon. So that's a fall classic. We'll do it with kind of like a cassoulet style. We get some beautiful beans from this company in California, some cranberry beans, and we'll make this kind of stew out of that with some pork sausage and a nice crispy duck leg on top of that. So that should be coming up pretty soon.
What's
awesome.
Pretty soon?
Pretty soon, I would say by next week. So around the first week of November.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all I need to know.
There we go.
We'll email you when that one comes out.
Okay.
It'll be on Facebook or something, I'm sure, too. So you can check out all of our pictures and stuff there.
Fantastic. Well, Jonathan, thanks again, and I really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Thank you all for listening. For notes from this episode, along with Jonathan's recipe for butternut squash soup, check out the blog section of our website at mackeysinc.com. That's MACKEYSINC.com. And remember, where that is in which you love, that's home. Mackeys, where the home grows.